The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk.
Our heads are chopped off.
I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And there is a top to our heads, just in case. There we go. We're good. Hello, everybody. And it is Monday in the Rev. And we got a bunch of little stuff to talk about, I guess. But,
I guess so. Oh, happy Diwali if you're Hindu out there. It's the Festival of Lights Day.
oh, there goes our heads again.
Yep. I have a lot of...
You know what it is? We're beginning to learn. We're levitating. If you go see the you go to see the Maharishi, they teach you how to meditate and levitate.
It's either that or, as the politicians want to say, we're getting our heads too big.
Exactly.
Oh, well, such is life. It was very interesting if you read The Flush this weekend.
Oh, I did.
Yep.
The first half was a tribute to Mr. Lima.
Yep. And his Mr. Lima's wake will be on Thursday at the Hathaway Home for Funerals up on Robeson Street. So it should be very interesting. But one of the things I went over, which was very important to me to go over, was the Bristol County ARPA money that we received. And I thought it was very interesting to see where that money went. There was an article in the Herald News this weekend. Actually, it appeared on the 21st. And Bristol County was awarded $109,786,776 by the U.S. Treasury. County Commissioners Paul Kitchen, John Mitchell, and John Saunders voted to disperse the funds to the 20 cities and towns in the Bristol County. Bristol County retained 10% of the funds to do countywide projects and to cover the administrative costs of the program. Well, that's nice. So 90% of the money went to the cities and towns. Here's where the money went. And if you are not interested in where this money went, it's going to be very interesting to see. I want you to listen to where the money was spent. Berkeley was awarded $220,433.26 to fund 3 projects: emergency response communication, school communication systems, and cardiac monitors. Now, I can see the benefit to the community from that. Dayton was awarded $273,719.76 to fund emergency response communications again. Again, I can see the benefit to the community. Easton awarded $131,400 for 2 projects: restoring police staffing to pre-COVID levels. There you go. I can understand that. They must have lost some officers during the COVID situation. Now Fall River. $3,959,757 for 5 projects. A fitness court. A bioreserve discovery center. Body-worn cameras with tasers for the police. I can see that one.
We can live with that one.
Yep. Street sweepers and graffiti removal machines. We don't even have enough people to run the street sweepers we have now.
That's right.
And we're going to
you very rarely see them on the street.
Exactly. And graffiti removal, the sheriff has that equipment. The sheriff has labor that does it. And he's willing to go out to the communities to do that. So why did Fall River need that? To give somebody a job?
No, not only that, but you know what else? You have to yuppify Fall River.
Exactly.
You have to wokeify it.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get all these people coming down on the trains by the droves, and they need a fitness court. They need all these need all these nuances that only the privileged do. The other people that live in Fall River are too busy trying to pay their rent and stay in their house and buy food with this inflation. But Fall River, as I said, the problem we have in Fall River is we have, and it's throughout. It's kind of like having people from Newton and Martha's Vineyard running the city. You see, we have people who are in the privileged class running the community, and they're looking at not doing something for the average people, and that therein lies the problem. You know, the ARPA money is being used like all the other money, you know, pay raises and stuff like this, and let's put 68 more people on a payroll that we're going to have to live forever with them on a payroll, but we're going to pay them for 2 years with ARPA money, and then the hell with the people. They have to pay it later on.
Right.
So
either that or they get laid off, and we're still paying.
You know, this is a testament to the priorities of the Coogan administration.
Correct.
Clueless Paul strikes again. I don't know what yuppie told him we needed a fitness court. We got the YMCA, we got Planet Fitness, we got Crunch, we got a million gyms.
Yep.
You got Atlantic Fitness.
Right.
You want to get fit, you can even do it in your own home. But the fact is that, look, I've belonged to a gym my entire life, and there's plenty of gyms
Right.
to go around.
Right. Well,
And that fitness course, you know what that's going to be? It's going to be like they actually got the fitness track around BCC here, and they've got some chin-up bars and
Right.
push-up, various levels of push-ups you can do. Make them a little easier, make them a little lower. You get the full horizontal. That's been there for years. You know, I can count the number of times on my fingers I've seen those things being utilized.
right. Right.
So let's build another one.
Right.
So we can say, come to Fall River. We have a fitness court.
Right. Now, how about, and remember, all of those projects came from who? The Coogan administration and the city council.
Yeah.
The city council approved them, except for Michelle Dion. She
Yeah.
didn't. But here's one for you. Norton, a little town like Norton. Little town.
Yeah, it's a little tiny
Yeah,
little
it's
town.
not a- it's not a
You
big
almost-
town.
If you blink, you go through
Yeah,
it.
it's not a big town. $2,687,500 for water main improvements. What good is that?
Yeah, that's absolute. What a waste of money.
Right.
What a waste of money. Wait a minute, didn't I just see them say our water mains are a disaster? We got to keep throwing taxpayer dollars.
Yes.
We could get a little relief, but no. Let's build a fitness court. You know, let's have a giant jungle gym for all the yuppies to play on. This is the problem. I did a little quick math on the way here, because our illustrious mayor is supposedly, we got a report, and obviously one of our sources told me this. He was on here talking about affordable housing again, and we're working on now because everybody's complaining so much, and we've called them out so much. Now he's on I don't know what we are working on it. Who's we? You and a turd in your pocket? You're supposed to be the mayor. Where's your plan, like Mitchell? Where's your plan? You don't have a plan. What you do is do sound bites on the radio. Oh, we're working on it. Yeah, we're working. We got affordable. What is it? 4 units?
4 units.
4 units. And I did a little quick math. And granted, this isn't. I'm going to say that this isn't spot on accurate. It's probably actually an underestimation. So I'm going to tell you what I did, because these people apparently are incapable of doing this. What do we got? 98,000 people in Fall River now?
Something like that.
Something like this. So I took 98,000 people, and I went to the United States Census Bureau. I didn't make up the number. 36% of the buildings are owner occupied. So even though a lot of them are multiple families, like yours, yeah,
Like yours.
and like mine, although it's only me in it, so. But I bought that 2 families so my mother and father could move in when they were retired.
Right.
So, but the reality is that I gave them the whole 36%. So then I took that and I divided it. And how many? I gave it 3 people per household, which is
That's about the average.
About average, like
Yeah.
2.5, 3. There's some 4, some 5, some
Right.
2. And then after I did that, I determined the number of units that we had with 98,000 people. Then I subtracted it to see how many units we needed of affordable housing to house the people. 4 units, 21,000.
Right.
21,000 units we need
Right.
to deal with the population we have now. So listen, look, it's not a priority. This is like Martha's Vineyard. They don't want the average Fall Riverite to be here anymore. They've made it clear with comments like, go to Russia.
Go to New Bedford.
If you can't afford it, get out.
Right.
Well, obviously, if you can't afford Fall River, you can't afford anywhere else.
Right.
But get out anyway. We don't care because we got money. You don't beat it. Hit the door. We don't want to see you. That's like the old line from Like a Rolling Stone from Dylan. You know, when he says you're invisible now.
That's right.
When you ain't got nothing, you got nothing to lose. That's what happens when you're poor or middle income. You're in today's society, and especially in this city where the elitists run it, you're invisible. They don't even want to see them. They pretend they don't exist. And when you talk about them, their cure to the problem is not work on affordable housing like everybody else is. Just give them 4 units and let the rest, build a tent city.
Yeah, well,
but we digressed a little bit.
Yeah, we
but
did.
these are some of the what happens. These are the ramifications of running things like this and not spending your money for the good of the community.
Well, here's the kicker. Did you know that ARPA money can be used for affordable housing?
Yes, but there you go again, saying that horrible word that they try to mix everybody with. When they say, we got enough public housing. Well, that's not affordable housing.
That's right.
We got workforce. That's not the same as affordable housing. There are criteria for those. We're talking about affordable. U.S. Census Bureau, I just looked it up. When I was looking up these numbers, even with the elevated rent they had on the last one, it was 795. Now it's 834 or something like that. Why did these freak? It's the same person every time I'm on the show. God, okay. But it's like they don't want to talk about it because they don't want these. The reality is they do not want these people here. They don't like these people. You know, they can put up all their signs and pretend, but they want to make this Newton. And I hate to tell you this, but we'll never be Newton.
That's true.
Because Newton has like 78% of their people have bachelor's degrees. Their income is 5 times what it is in Fall River. Those people aren't moving to Fall River. And people who have a household income between $150,000 and $200,000 are not coming to Fall River because affordable housing is not an issue with those people.
That's right.
I hate to tell you that.
And hence
but
why
you people
Newton
are living in la-la land.
And hence why Newton says we are not going to do the
3A.
Yeah. The
zoning.
The T zoning, and we'll take the hit with the money.
Because Newton can give them the giant middle finger.
That's right.
They can give them the giant finger because guess what? Newton doesn't need state aid.
That's right.
Because that community is rich.
There you go.
This is a blue collar community, but the problem is blue collar people do not run a community. So all you blue collar people, run for city council, run for things. We need people who are running our government who are not going to do things like this, who are going to not make backroom deals, who are going to actually try to make this city move forward with the population it has, like we did before.
Right.
You know, Fall River, Lowell, Lawrence, these communities were blue-collar communities where immigrants came. They didn't have the greatest jobs in the world, but they had jobs. And they were all, during the Industrial Revolution, they were all doing fairly well. You had stowers and, and we did in Fall River. But this market rate housing doesn't fix a community like this. Training, jobs, a workforce with discretionary money spurs small businesses. This is a joke. This entire thing is a joke. And the way this opera money is spent in Fall River shows a total and absolute disconnect from reality that the majority of our city council and our mayor has.
It's just absolute disregard. It's
Yeah.
absolute disregard. I got one more that I want to cite
Okay.
because they're right next door. I make it two.
Another giant community.
Another giant community, Swansea. $646,000 to Vinicum well replacement. Imagine that.
Yeah.
A well replacement.
Yeah.
That supplies water to the town.
Yeah.
Water. Okay? And then, of course, there's Westport, $570,000 for an ambulance and a backhoe.
Yeah, and let's bring up one fact that a lot of people don't know. They're not data geeks like we are. And they don't understand ratios and proportions. When you talk about $500,000 and $600,000 in a community that's like a fifth or less of what Fall River is, proportionally, that would be like Fall River spending $4 million
Right. Exactly.
or $5 million.
Right.
So let's put that into perspective. If you go, 500,000, what are you guys making a big deal of? Because it is a big deal in those communities.
That's right. It is.
When you look at their budget, compare their total budget to Fall River's total budget. All of those communities put together probably don't have a budget that exceeds Fall River's budget.
Well, that's because we got a bloated budget.
Yeah, well, we do. And that's one of the problems. But, like you said, this is just an example. See, this is not the problem. This is the symptom
That's right.
of the problem.
That's right.
The symptom that we have a government. It's kind of like the federal government. There's no border crisis. The border is closed. 2.3 million this year arrested. Not the gotaways. Forget about the gotaways. There's over 1 million of those. I just saw the stat this morning on television. 2.3 million arrested. And guess what? The greatest number in the history of the border. 2.3 million arrests. Nearly 2.4 million arrests. And what does our federal government say? There's no recession. The economy is strong. There's no border crisis. There's no crime. Then you had that pinhead in New York, the mayor this morning. I saw him. Again, he's trying to, there's no crime on a subway. Don't make a big deal out of crime on a subway. Remember, we got millions of people in the city. 350,000 people ride the subway. So what? We're only averaging like 6 crimes a day. Rapes, murders, pushing people on a track. So what? Yeah, look at it in perspective. It's not a big deal.
Touch that third rail and you'll find out.
If you're one of those 6 people,
That's right.
It means a hell of a lot. And not only that, the safety. I mean, listen, figures don't lie, but liars can figure. These people manipulate facts. Well, we say, it's like, okay, I just got the data, and I just told you. That's not accurate. That's just a ballpark thing.
Right.
But, to get on here and say we are working on it. No, Paul, there's no we in leader. Okay? You're not on a team. There's no I in team. Those are the old colloquialisms. You're the leader of the city. You're supposed to have a plan. What do we go through? Catholic Social Services, the workforce development. Now, we're going through everything with sound bites on a radio. Have I seen you in front of a microphone giving your plan? To not make 4 or 5 units, to make
400 or 500.
400 or 500, 1,000, 2,000, to look for alternatives on how we can help this plan. New York City's had rent control for years,
Right.
forever, because they had to. Now, is anybody going to look into some kind of feasibility of doing something like that alongside of it to supplement? No, that's what an actual leader does. Leaders don't go look at social media and shows like ours and then run to the radio and go, we got 4 units. Oh, yeah, we are working on it. There's no we. runs the show. You're the general. The buck stops there. But it doesn't in your case. It goes through right like diarrhea. You get them, and it goes right like diarrhea to everybody you know. You give out all kinds of money. You're breaking the city's back financially, and you're doing absolutely nothing for the average people in Fall River. Where's your plan? Stop with the we. Stop with the we. No matter who you are, if you're a leader, you're the one. Buck stops there. It's on you. It's not on you and your friends. It's on you. You're the mayor. We've seen nothing from you in 3 years. You're always looking for cover. All you do, you're the soundbite mayor.
Well, I have to ask, does the mayor really run the city, or is it Ken Fiola?
Well, does the president run the country? I don't think so. And then to answer that, I do not think so. Listen,
Right.
Look. He shouldn't have run for mayor. He was probably run for mayor because they could tell him what to do.
Exactly.
Because let's face it, he does not have any background to be a leader. He's never been a leader. He was a vice principal.
That's right.
He was an employee. Has he ever been in a place where he had to make the final decisions? Where he had to make the tough calls? No. It's like saying, okay, that's the reason I wrote that letter. Many years ago about his brother when he got promoted from lieutenant to fire chief. You can't do that. You have to go up and learn the job because lieutenants and captains only run a small piece. They go to car fires, brush fires. If there's a major incident or a structure fire, you have to have a chief officer there. There's an incident command system. And a chief officer is now in charge of everything. You have to give orders to everybody. You have to give orders to all the officers on the engine companies, the ladder companies, the rescue company, and whether it's a hazardous materials incident to the rest of the team, you're in charge, total charge. And every decision you make is life or death. He doesn't have to make life or death decisions, but how is he going to make a decision on a budget? He never had to do a budget in his life for any kind of organization. He never had to do anything that required him to have leadership experience, and it's showing.
Well, he thinks we're still in the school department. He thinks he's still a vice principal because the way he treats everybody, oh, you've heard it before.
Yeah.
You know, be my friend. Don't you want to go to heaven?
Yeah.
Don't you want to go to heaven? He's trying to keep everybody happy.
I'm not counting on it, but
Yeah, he's trying to keep everybody happy. And you can't keep everybody happy.
No.
Look, he doesn't keep us happy.
No, but look, that's the first thing you learn about leadership. You're never going to make a decision that's going to satisfy everybody.
That's right.
You have to make a decision, just like I said on the fire ground. I used to tell my junior officers, you're there, the SOP is senior officers in charge of the fire till relieved by a chief at a major incident. You have to do something. You have to make an error of commission. You've got to do something. Lives are on the line, property's on the line. You can't sit there with your thumb up your rear end waiting for me to show up or some chief to show up and then say, what do I do now? Right. No, you got to do something. I don't care tactically if it's a little off. You can deal with that later. Leaders have to make decisions. And nobody that knows anything about human nature knows you're going to satisfy everybody. Leaders make decisions that they feel are in the best interest of who they are in charge of. And in this case, you're in charge of the city of Fall River, and most of the people in the city of Fall River are mid to low income people. You have not made a decision ever in your administration that benefited those people.
They're suffering.
That's the bottom line.
And they're suffering.
That's right.
And they're suffering at his hand. It's that simple. They're suffering at his hand.
Yeah.
So, well, now that we're already on the Paul Coogan attack mode.
Not an attack. We're just stating facts.
No, right. We're just stating some of the facts. We didn't go into this all last week because of various laws which you are familiar with.
Yes.
But it seems that the union president doesn't subscribe to that law. The fire department, via the union president, has been in secret backdoor negotiations with the mayor on separating EMS from the fire department. Now, a couple of years ago, if you remember, the city sold the merger of Fall River Fire Department and Fall River EMS together because they were going to have a fire-based EMS system. Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember it very vividly. They also moved them to Group 4, which has a great impact on the retirement system.
Exactly.
With a total disregard for its impact on the retirement system.
Right.
So, yeah, you're right. That was going to be fire-based EMS. And in case you want that, I will give any city councilor. It's funny because I was digging through the attic. I'm starting to
Your
clean
files.
clean my attic, which is up to the basically rafters. I've got thousands of things up there from years ago. But I actually came across the International Association's Firefighters Manual on fire-based EMS and why it's so effective. That's what they sold. They gave them fire department rank without exams. They gave them huge pay raises, all because they were going to be melded into the fire department and have fire-based EMS. But we knew that wasn't true because they want to keep their structure and they want their supervisor. Because once you're part of the fire department, you don't need all those other, guy in charge of this and the supervisor of EMS. No, like Providence. Providence has fire EMS. But somebody sent me the article that Gene St. Pierre wrote, and he talked about the split, and then he talked about closed-door meetings. And listen, I can't speak to that because, number one, but I did, there rumors abound. There's talk about the president of the union posting things on the bulletin board. You're not supposed to do that.
Right.
Okay, let me explain something to these people who don't know how the union is supposed to be run, because backroom deals are obviously the forte. We know what his brother did. He backroom dealed his way into a 13-day stint as fire chief, jumping over captain, district chief, and deputy chief. So, the Cougans love backroom deals. The president of the union now is a former school committee pal. You can't put that stuff on the bulletin boards. You can't negotiate in public. The city can't disclose what's ongoing because you trade proposals. It's only the final product. When you reach a tentative agreement, you're supposed to bring in the way we did it, and you can check. There are people around. You get a tentative agreement, and then you bring it to the body. You call meetings, and you used to call 2 meetings because we had a day shift and a night shift, so the day shift couldn't come, so we'd have a day meeting and a night meeting, and we would then show all the parts of the contract that the bargaining committee, and by the way, the president of the union can't bargain by himself. He has a 7-member bargaining committee that's supposed to be at all bargaining sessions.
Right.
So he's technically bypassing his own union, and there is a law against that too. But once you bring that to the body and tell them what you have tentatively approved, and they ratify it, then you can release it to the public.
Right.
You can't post it on a bulletin board so somebody can leak it. Eddie Lambert tried that years ago when he leaked stuff, and I filed an unfair labor practice against him. But what's going on, we can't comment, because I do not comment on what the union's doing. The allegations, these are the allegations.
Yep.
I'm just telling you the way it should be done. If it wasn't done this way, it's not being done properly.
Right, and it could be violations of the law.
That's right.
And then again, there's not a law that Paul likes unless it benefits him.
And the major duty of a union, the duty to represent its membership.
Right.
That's the #1 duty in 150E, the duty to represent.
Yep, and obviously, we have a problem. Well, that's the end of our show. I want to thank you all for watching. Oh, our heads are back. I want to thank you all for watching.
We levitated.
Remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. Thanks for inviting us into your home. Have a great day.